And we are live. Welcome to Travel Insights, powered by the leading travel and tourism daily news portal, traveldailynews.com International Edition. This is a special episode celebrating the 24-year anniversary of Travel Daily News. Congrats! We are streaming live on our website, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, as well as on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you for tuning in and watching us wherever you're watching us from. I'm Krista Skodra, and in this weekly interview series, I have the chance to interview inspiring thought leaders, professionals, academics, and practitioners in the travel, tourism, aviation, transportation, and hospitality industries, sharing their unique insights and expertise with us. Today, I have a special guest. Let me welcome him into the studio, Dr. Josef Doppelbauer. Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome, Krista.
You are tuning in, you're joining us now in the studio from France, is that right?
Yeah, we are here in Valenciennes in the north of France.
Right. You're the executive director of the European Union Agency for Railways, in short, ERRA. You have joined in 2015 the agency. You have a long career in the industry. You are a doctor in physics. You have a doctorate degree in physics. You know technology very well, physics, transportation. You can cover today's topic brilliantly with our viewers, the future of rail transport in Europe. Quo vandis Europa? Where is Europe going? How is the future looking, especially moving towards a sustainable and safe railway system without frontiers, which is, I believe, the vision and mission of your agency and what the European Union wants to do. So, for our international viewers, for everybody watching, can you tell us a little bit about the core activities and responsibilities of your agency, the European Agency of European Union Agency for Railways, and how the mandate of the agency has been extended in recent years to include even more responsibilities?
The European Union Agency for Railways is one of the 37 agencies of the European Union, and as the name implies, we are dealing with the European railway system. Historically, our task have been to devise legal texts on the issues of railway interoperability and railway safety. Since 2016, with a new legal package that is called the Fourth Railway Package, we are also now European authority. We are an authority that has the mandate to give vehicle authorization, meaning we allow vehicles to run and to operate safely on the European network. And we also have the task of giving safety certifications to railway undertakings, meaning we make sure that the operators have the right processes in place and also that they have the right competencies and people.
Mhm. If we set the stage now for our viewers regarding the European rail industry and network, it's a quite or it has been historically very fragmented. As we all know, there's different countries that speak different languages. They have a little bit different geography. Um, and can you tell us a little bit about the what is the current situation of rail transport within the EU? How complex it is, how multidimensional it is, and what do you see as the challenges being faced by the European rail industry of today?
As you say, the railway system in Europe has developed historically, and it has developed historically in the individual nations separately. So we have barriers to interoperability. We have, and you mentioned language as one of these barriers. We have the different infrastructure driven by the geography in the countries, and we have different technical requirements, and in most cases also different legal processes. This is making the life for rail, and in particular for cross-border rail, quite difficult. I used to say that rail is the only mode of transport that does not have global rules. If you drive a car, the rules are basically the same everywhere in the world. If you use an aircraft for aviation, we also have global rules. For the railways in Europe, the rules used to differ from country to country, and the key task of the European Union Agency for Railways is to develop processes and to develop methodologies to create what we call a single European railway area, meaning that trains can seamlessly move across border throughout the whole European Union.
Yes, and you mentioned about the comparison with aviation, for instance, and other modes of transportation. How competitive you think that the railroad is compared to flying on a plane or taking someone's car? Do you have the measurements that so? What is the current state? How many passengers are choosing the railroad for their transportation and traveling?
As a consequence of this complicated setup and this fragmentation into national railway systems, the modal share of rail in the European Union is unfortunately quite low. For the transport of passengers, the average modal share in the European Union is about
Mhm.
8%, and for the freight transport, the modal share is around 17%, which is low in comparison to, for instance, the
Mhm.
automotive. While on the other hand, rail has two important
Mm.
advantages. The first advantage is the low energy consumption and therefore the low emissions of CO2. The other advantage is the high safety of rail in comparison with other modes of transport.
Mm. So I'm glad that you mentioned you. We go now deep in today's topic, moving towards a sustainable first and safe second, or not with order of importance, sustainable and safe railway system without frontiers. So if we look at the safety. First, so there has been recently two major rail accidents in European countries this spring, one in Greece and another one in the Netherlands. Um, Tell us a little bit more about ERA's work in order to ensure the safety and security of the rail passengers and employees across Europe, and what measures are in place to mitigate such safety risks.
As I said before, rail is a very safe mode of transport, and this safety is one of the key advantages. And unfortunately, and you mentioned the two recent examples, there still are accidents. These accidents in the railway system are extremely rare, and this is also why these accidents always hit the news very prominently. If we make a rough comparison, in average, every year in the railway system, there are about 50 passengers unfortunately killed in accidents in the European railway system, in the European Union as a whole. In comparison, in the automotive industry, we have on average per year more than 25,000 fatalities. The contribution of the European Union Agency for Railways for Safety is threefold. So the first contribution that we make is we create the preconditions through our authority tasks, meaning we authorize the vehicles and we certify the operators. The second contribution is we monitor. So we monitor the performance of these actors and check whether actually they are doing what is required. The third and perhaps most important contribution is that we build the capabilities, that we train the people, that we devise
Mm.
processes, a common understanding of safety throughout the European Union, and that we also share these experiences and these.
Mm. Thank you. And how about the major infrastructure projects or other involvement that your agency ERA is involved in order to improve the rail transport in Europe? You spoke before about the interoperability. How about also the today's topic, the sustainability? Um, how those two are, so what investments and what efforts need to take place for those objectives that improve the rail competitiveness and the Green Deal objectives are met?
As a European Union agency, we have not very deep involvement in the concrete investments, but our contribution is to facilitate the cross-border rail transport. And if we make it attractive and if we make it much more simple to cross borders by train, we will improve the attractiveness, and then we will improve the connectivity, and we will in turn improve the modal share of rail. Every shift of transport from automotive or aviation to rail will make sure that we emit less CO2, and eventually we arrive at the carbon neutral transport system in the European Union.
And as we said in the beginning, one of ERA's core activities is to create this harmonized approach and remove the technical barriers. Of course, they need investments in each member state, right, in order for the vision to be achieved, right? As we have differences in different countries. So, in order to achieve the vision of a railway system without frontiers, there's certain investments that have to take place. Is that right?
And these investments are, of course, also related to innovation in the railway system, because we strive to deploy new systems that follow a European
Mm-hmm.
specification. And the European specification is, for instance, very relevant in the area of
Mm-hmm.
signaling. There we have the so-called European Rail Traffic Management System, ERTMS, for which we are the system authority at the European Union
Mm-hmm.
level.
And you spoke about innovation. So if we look at the technological and innovation side, could you tell us a little more about the future of rail transportation and how all these technologies and innovations are integrated into the rail network? Where do you see the near future or the next decades leading? What innovations should be in place? What innovations you think that should be coming to make the vision a reality?
Rail has the image of being a very traditional mode of transport, which is not necessarily true, because rail has been extremely innovative throughout its history. We shall not forget that rail has been the enabler of the technical revolution in the 19th century, and rail was also the carrier of the economic growth in Europe after the Second World War. Now, I believe we have to go the next step in innovation, and this next step is called digitalization. We need to digitalize the railway system in order to better manage the railway network, but in particular to offer better services to our customers. Better service to the customers means better information about the connections, the travel opportunities, better and easier possibilities to buy tickets digitally online, and of course, better information during the trip about disturbances. And with digitalization, we can perhaps make the railway system so attractive that we can again make it very interesting for the users to use rail instead of other
Mhm.
transport
Do
modes.
you have certain metrics and goals towards the rail competitiveness for the next 10, 20 years ahead? Are you working towards achieving some specific measurable goals?
Well, there is obviously the measurement of the modal share, and the European Commission has published some years ago a strategy for sustainable and smart mobility, in which clear targets for increasing the percentage of high-speed traffic in Europe, but also for increasing the transport of freight by rail are mentioned. And for instance, on the freight side, the uh, volume of freight transported by rail should double by 2050 and should be 50% higher by 2030.
I see. You spoke about before about the digitalization that should come first. Are there any other trends that you see that play a major role for achieving those uh, objectives that the European Union is already setting? What do you see? You read a lot. You speak with a variety of stakeholders at a variety of levels. So, what is your insights and your analysis of what key trends will shape the railway as a form of transportation and transportation in general, if we look at from a variety of parameters, from how the new generation of travelers behave to what's high on the agenda from the policymakers down to the grassroots level to the end user.
We need to look at the transport system as a whole, and every mode of transport has advantages and disadvantages. The advantage of rail is that it can transport high volumes of people and of goods with low environmental impact, but rail does not have the last mile capability. So the ideal transport system is a combination of the various modes of transport in a multimodal system that is fully integrated. And our vision is to have rail as the backbone of the integrated multimodal transport system in the European Union. Obviously, digital technologies will play an important role to connect the various modes of transport and to make it possible for the passenger to have a seamless travel experience, to have one single interface and one single ticket for a multimodal
Mm.
journey.
Recently on social media, there was a comparison between the US railways versus the situation in the European or in Europe. Um, what are the lessons that other continents, other countries can learn from how things are done at the European Union level? What lessons could be exported? What do you think? Where do you think you're doing an excellent job, and despite the challenges, so that perhaps others can learn from?
We need to look into each other's performance in order to learn from each other. We can learn a lot from the United States, and in the United States, we see that they have not a very significant passenger transport by rail, but they have a very effective network for freight on rail, which is, of course, facilitated by the fact that there is one single authority, one single regulatory system, and of course, also one single language in North America. I believe what the world, including North America, can learn from Europe, and a factor on which we can be proud of is our approach to standardization. We always speak of the European system of what we call the technical specifications for interoperability to be the global reference. And another factor is that the European railway supply industry is also very strong at the global basis. So Europe has the lead worldwide both in technology but also in production of railway products. And I think this is a factor that can be exported to the whole world, and Europe can be proud of that.
Great. How about important events that you have coming up where you'll be talking or sharing knowledge? Because I believe the lesson learned is how things are done in the European Union. There's a lot of knowledge transfer and knowledge sharing in order to accomplish those common goals in this very complex environment. Do you have any upcoming events that you're participating with your agency, representing your agency, and what's high on the agenda in those top level meetings and events?
We have discussed in our interview about the sustainability, the environmental performance of the railway system, but we have also discussed a lot about railway safety. The major event that the European Union Agency for Railways will organize in 2023 is the European Railway Safety Days, which is a major conference that we will organize in September in Tallinn, the capital of Estonia. And there, obviously, the latest developments in railway safety will be discussed, as well as the lessons learned from recent accidents.
Could you give us some heads up? What are, in a nutshell, the latest developments to close today's episode?
We have seen in the investigation of recent accidents an important and an even ever increasing importance of human
Mhm.
factors. Human factors are an essential contributor to the causes of these accidents, and human factors are also a focus area of the work of the agency. We see an increasing importance of human factors, in particular when we look at digitalization, and we have to make sure that we have the proper interaction and the proper consideration of human factors when we innovate the railway system and when we introduce digital technologies.
Great. Thank you for mentioning that. I think that's very important in this era of artificial intelligence and the great steps ahead in digitalization. How important the human factor is, and how vital for the safety of an operation of the transportation. Dr. Doppelbauer, is there anything in your mind you would like to add towards now the end of our episode that you absolutely want to communicate to our viewers?
I would like to encourage everyone when they need to decide on their next trip to do the proper choice of the mode of transport and to give proper consideration about using railways on this specific occasion. You contribute to the environment and you also will be traveling comfortably and safely.
Great. How about you personally? Maybe I could ask you, how often do you use the train for your transportation?
Well, I use the train regularly. I use the train almost every day. And of course, I do it out of professional interest because using the services of the railway system gives me the direct feedback on how well the system is functioning. And it gives also a direct experience of possible problems. So for me, rail is both an efficient and convenient mode of transport, but also an important source of relevant information.
So efficient and comfortable transportation mode. Thank you, Dr. Josef Doppelbauer was with us here on Travel Insights on Travel Daily News. Thank you for taking the time.
My pleasure, Krista. Thank you
Thank
very
you so
much.
much. And this was another episode of Travel Insights here on Travel Daily News. I'll see you next week. If you have any other interesting story to tell or insights, make sure you contact me or my colleagues at press@traveldailynews.com. era.com. And of course, in today's topic, here is the website where you can find more information, www.era.europa.eu. Find more information, plan your next trip using the train if possible. So I will see you next Wednesday with another inspiring episode of Travel Insights. Thank you for tuning in and listening. Bye for now.